I want you to win, but I don't want you to win more than me. Now I see if you win more than me, now I got to question your sexuality.
Yeah.
I got to question, how black are you? Because, bro, I'm like, come on, man. I mean,
but that's cause you fools on other networks, which we gonna become fools next year. We be working on that network. But Oklahoma City and the Cavs been balling for 6 months.
I've been going back and forth with TNT for the last 2 months, whether I'm gonna work 2 years or 3 years. But if I really wanted to, I could stay for 7 years, which there's no chance of that happening. Zero. Ain't nobody, they can't fire me. I make too much money to get fired. So they can't fire me. First of all, they fire me, they gotta pay me for 7 years, and I'm gonna quit way before then. But if they wanna fire me, I would love for them to do that.
There's some serious mess bubbling behind the scenes, and it might finally explain why Charles Barkley is making big moves at ESPN, while Shannon Sharpe looks like he's losing his grip in real time.
I'm not taking no job, and I know how, number one, the most important thing is how much I'm going to work. That's been my biggest gripe, to be honest with you. Like, well, how much am I going to work? I mean, the notion that I'm gonna work more as I get older, that's just not gonna.
At first, folks thought it was just timing. Shannon stepping back, Chuck stepping in. But now, nah, this ain't no coincidence. Whispers are swirling, and some leaked audio just dropped that's blowing the lid off everything. Word is, Shannon Sharpe may have been playing dirty, trying to block Charles Barkley's ESPN bag while his own career was crumbling under that lawsuit cloud and a string of off-camera blunders. Talk about messy. And get this, despite Barkley running his mouth, going off script, even throwing shade at ESPN on air, the network's still rolling out the red carpet for him.
I've been telling y'all that for 2 months. Hey, ESPN, I love you guys. Don't try to make Anthony Edwards the face of the NBA. The face of the NBA is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Joker, and Giannis. You can't give it to people. They have to take it.
No suspension, no warning, just love. Meanwhile, Shannon's getting quietly pushed to the side like he's yesterday's news. So now people are asking, what's really going on? Was Shannon really out here trying to sabotage Barkley's deal out of pure spite? Was it jealousy? Or is there some deeper plot we haven't clocked yet? Because one thing's clear, ESPN is choosing sides, and they're standing 10 toes behind Chuck, flaws and all.
Ain't nobody, they can't fire me. I make too much money to get fired. So they can't fire me. First of all, they fire me, they gotta pay me for 7 years, and I'm gonna quit way before then. But if they wanna fire me, I would love for them to do that.
Insiders say Shannon's been heated ever since Barkley started popping up more on ESPN. Chuck's got that raw, unfiltered energy, and even when he's wildin', the crowd eats it up. But Shannon, he's been moving different. Quiet, tense, even paranoid, like he saw this takeover coming. And now that it's unfolding, the cracks are starting to show. Stay locked in, because this drama is just getting started.
Let me tell y'all something.
Tell me something.
And first of all, I want all the smoke. I don't whistle when I walk by the graveyard or anything like that.
I don't whistle when I walk by the graveyard.
Right.
I like that.
Hey,
one.
man.
I'm stealing that one.
The Lakers are doing good.
Charles Barkley's pull with the crowd made him the perfect catch for ESPN after TNT fumbled the NBA rights. But behind the scenes, Shannon Sharpe was spiraling. That lawsuit, the one filed by a woman just barely into adulthood, it had him under fire, and Barkley rising fast only added fuel to the pressure. Allegedly, Shannon started moving real shady, pulling strings in private, trying to block Chuck from getting in the building. Yup, sabotage, and it didn't stop there. Insiders are whispering that Shannon even tried handing over dirt on Barkley's past scandals to ESPN execs, hoping they'd hit the brakes on giving him a bigger platform. But guess what? It flopped. The plan backfired hard. Now here's the real kicker. While Shannon was busy digging up Chuck's old drama, turns out Barkley's controversies ain't even tucked away in the past. They're fresh, they're loud, and they're out in the open. Yet somehow, ESPN doesn't care one bit. Let's rewind. Back in 2022, Charles Barkley locked in a fat 10-year, $210 million deal with TNT. Huge money, big commitment. But even after signing that monster contract, Chuck didn't sugarcoat it. He flat out said he's not staying the whole time. He gave it 2 more years max, and then he's out. So now the question is, why is ESPN ignoring Barkley's chaos while treating Shannon like a liability?
Like I said, even though the name changes, the engine is still the same. And to that new network we coming to, we're not coming to F around. And since it's the last show, I'm gonna say it. We're not coming to F around. We kicking ass, we taking names, and we taking over.
Something ain't adding up, and folks are starting to notice. Charles Barkley made it crystal clear. He's all about balance, and he ain't gonna burn himself out just to make a network happy. And if anyone thought he was bluffing, think again. Chuck didn't hold back when he took a slick jab at ESPN's grind culture. He said, "I ain't gonna be working like no dog, like Stephen A. Smith." Yeah, he really said that. And that wasn't some casual throwaway. It was a straight-up boundary check. Barkley basically drew a line in the sand. He's not here for that non-stop, overworked 7 days a week ESPN lifestyle. Now here's where it gets wild. You'd think ESPN would hit pause after a comment like that, maybe pump the brakes, right? Nope. They still rolled out the red carpet for him, still gave him a spot in their NBA future, still handed him creative control like nothing happened. So the question is, why? Even behind the scenes, Barkley's not holding back. He's seriously concerned ESPN's gonna ruin the inside the NBA vibe. Too many ads, too many scripted moments, and not enough real, raw energy. That's what made the original show iconic. And it's not just fans side-eyeing this whole thing. Industry vets, media critics, and even Chuck himself have been calling it out. Folks are saying what everyone's been thinking. ESPN has a habit of over-polishing everything until it's lifeless. Too much control, not enough flavor. So now everybody's watching, is Barkley walking into a creative trap, or is he about to flip the whole network on its head? TNT let Charles Barkley be Charles Barkley. No filter, no script, just vibes. But ESPN? They're known for cutting people down until they fit that corporate mold. Read the teleprompter, play it safe, and stick to the brand. That's not Barkley's style, and he made it clear he's not about to change for anyone. Chuck even clowned a new TNT pilot to its face, called it the stupidest ish I've ever seen. And that wasn't a leak or rumor. He said it publicly, on the record. Now anybody else would have been quietly cut after that. But Charles, still standing strong, still untouchable. He even dragged ESPN for hyping up Anthony Edwards as the league's next big thing before the kid had truly proven himself under real pressure. And what happened? Nothing. No suspension, no public apology, no media spin, just silence. ESPN let it slide like it was nothing. Now imagine being Shannon Sharpe in the middle of all this chaos. He was this close to sealing a $100 million deal. Then boom, the lawsuit drops. That messy IG Live moment goes viral, and the whispers of tension inside ESPN start getting louder. And suddenly, here comes Barkley, fresh off calling out ESPN's own playbook, walking in the door, getting promotions, praise, and protection like he's untouchable. Of course, Shannon's feeling the heat. The way these two are being treated, it's not even subtle. It's loud, messy, and borderline disrespectful. And here's the twist. Rumors say that once Barkley heard about Shannon allegedly trying to block his ESPN deal, he hit back live on air, saying he's too expensive to fire, too big to cancel, just straight up flexing. This ain't a rivalry anymore. This is turning into a Cold War, and everybody's watching it play out in real time. That one comment from Barkley? It shook the whole room. It wasn't just confidence. It was a quiet warning, a straight-up power move. Chuck knows exactly what he brings to the table, and more importantly, he knows ESPN needs him right now. And that's where things start to get tense, because allegedly, instead of fixing his own mess, Shannon Sharpe started throwing shade and scrambling behind the scenes to tear Chuck down. But honestly, it's not giving smart. It's giving desperate. Now the word on the curb is Charles caught wind of Shannon's alleged sabotage, and he did not take it lightly. Sources say he let folks around him know real quick. He's not here to play Shannon's little behind-the-scenes games. Barkley ain't the boardroom type, but when he's mad, he doesn't hold back. He'll let it rip right on air if he feels disrespected. While Charles is locking down multi-year deals, staying in his bag, and barely blinking at the drama, Shannon's situation is spiraling fast, turning into a full-on masterclass in self-sabotage. Now let's get real about the elephant in the room, that $50 million lawsuit. Gabriella Zinga stepped forward, accusing Shannon of serious misconduct, saying their relationship started when she was just barely legal, and it quickly turned toxic. These are major allegations. We don't have all the facts, but the case hit like a bomb. And the timing couldn't be worse, especially since just weeks before the news broke, Shannon went live on IG and forgot to log off. And the footage? Let's just say, it was not a good look. Viewers caught way more than they were supposed to. This mess is stacking up fast, and the spotlight's only getting hotter. Let's just say that IG Live's slip-up showed way too much, and it left folks raising eyebrows like never before. The streets had a lot to say. One person flat out said, "Shannon Sharpe ruined his own career. He ain't got nobody to blame but himself." And another hit the nail on the head. Sounds like Shannon's mad because they gave Barkley his raise. Whew, the internet is going in, and nobody's sugarcoating a thing. Now let's dig deeper into what folks are really thinking. Jealousy. That's what it's starting to look like. Because love him or hate him, Charles Barkley is a certified legend. He's consistent, he's hilarious, and most importantly, he's real. And here's the part that's shaking ESPN to the core. Chuck's not just pulling up solo, he's bringing the whole inside the NBA crew with him. That means Shaq, Kenny, Ernie, and the entire TNT production squad are packing up and sliding over to ESPN. Same set, same fire chemistry, same no-filter energy, just a new logo on the corner of the screen. Meanwhile, Shannon was out here trying to keep his spot. But Barkley? He was organizing a full-on takeover. And ESPN didn't just hire one man, they brought in an entire legacy brand. That's not a promotion, that's a straight-up replacement. Insiders are already buzzing that Barkley's show is set to become the new face of ESPN's NBA coverage. And the whispers are getting louder. Barkley might even have a say in who gets to stay and who gets pushed out. So when people say Shannon's spiraling out of jealousy, they're not just speculating, they're connecting the dots. And right now, it looks like Chuck's empire is rising, while Shannon's seat is starting to shake. So what's really at play here? Power, influence, control, everything Shannon Sharpe used to have in his grip, slipping right through his fingers. And now, there's a wild theory gaining traction. What if ESPN wants this beef to keep brewing? Think about it. Drama equals views, controversy gets clicks, and this messy back and forth between Shannon and Chuck? It's trending nonstop. So while the chaos unfolds on camera, ESPN could be quietly counting checks behind the scenes. Meanwhile, Shannon's credibility is taking blow after blow, and the petty moves? They're not helping. Word is, Shannon's been salty about not getting a raise to match Barkley's massive contract, and he's mad that ESPN's been pushing him to the background ever since that lawsuit surfaced. People online are not sugarcoating it. One comment hit hard. "Chuck ain't out here chasing barely legal girls. He deserves the bag. Shannon blew his own." Harsh, but that's the vibe flooding social media right now. Folks are seeing the downfall, and they're saying it loud. This ain't about sabotage. This is about self-destruction. And here's the twist nobody was ready for. Shannon's allegedly blaming Shaquille O'Neal for part of the fallout. Yup, the same Shaq who's now teamed up with Barkley again. Because while TNT lost the NBA rights, Shaq and Chuck, they're landing softly at ESPN, right in the seat Shannon thought he was claiming for himself. And if you've been paying attention, you already know there's been tension between Shannon and Shaq for years. It's never been fully out in the open, but insiders say the beef's been simmering for a while. And now that Shaq and Barkley are both walking into ESPN like kings, it's no wonder Shannon's allegedly feeling iced out. The takeover is in motion, and the one person who seems to be losing the most is Shannon Sharpe. The shade hasn't just been online, it's been popping off everywhere. Little digs in interviews, slick comments on air, petty jabs on IG, and now it's looking like Shaq might have been playing the long game all along. Because just a few weeks ago, an audio clip leaked, and it's wild. In the recording, you can hear someone who sounds a lot like Shaquille O'Neal talking to a known media fixer, the kind of person who gets paid to find dirt on high-profile names. And the voice says, "Find me something real on Shannon. I know it's there. I want the stuff that'll stick." And the response? Let me work on that one right quick. That's a tough one. Now fast forward, not long after that recording surfaced, boom, the lawsuit drops. Shannon's empire starts unraveling fast, piece by piece, brick by brick. So now everybody's asking, was this just bad luck? Or was someone pulling strings behind the scenes? Because let's be real, this didn't just hit out of nowhere. Shannon was already catching heat over his behavior off camera. Add a lawsuit on top? It was the perfect setup for his image to take a nosedive. And timing like that? It's way too clean to ignore. Meanwhile, word is ESPN execs are watching this storm play out, and while they're still backing Shannon publicly, behind closed doors, the vibe's different. Quiet meetings, subtle changes. And now, Barkley's new NBA studio show is officially in the works. And here's the twist. Rumors say Chuck's getting a say in the new talent lineup. Yeah, that means Shannon might be on the chopping block. And if that audio's real, Shaq may have just cleared the path for Barkley's takeover, one whisper at a time. Think about it. Why would ESPN keep someone drowning in scandal when they've got Charles Barkley, a walking ratings machine? ESPN's all in on personality-driven content right now. That's why they brought in Pat McAfee. That's why Stephen A. Smith is on every screen every hour. And now, Barkley's the next crown jewel in their playbook. Insiders say his name is everywhere, plastered across internal ESPN pitch decks, brand meetings, even ad strategy reports. They're framing him as the everyman voice of the NBA. The guy who cuts through the corporate fluff, calls out the nonsense, and still makes the sponsors happy. That's a rare combo, and Barkley's got it on lock. And here's where it gets messy. Shannon, instead of cleaning up his image and focusing on a comeback, is allegedly still playing defense, throwing shade at Barkley from the sidelines. But to be honest, it's not giving strategy, it's giving desperation. So what's next? Charles Barkley's set. He already said he's planning to retire in a few years, but until then, he's riding the ESPN wave all the way to the bank, with full control and zero concern about Shannon. Chuck's booked, protected, and completely unbothered. Now for Shannon, things are looking shaky. If he doesn't make a major pivot, and fast, this lawsuit might drag him down for good. The buzz around him is shifting from rising star to fall from grace, and the longer this drags out, the harder that bounce back's gonna be. Let's keep it real though. It might not be over just yet. Shannon's still got a name, still got fans, and if he can shake the lawsuit, rebuild his image, and stop chasing old beefs, he could still pull a Joe Budden-level comeback. But that prime seat at ESPN, that might already be slipping away. So now the real question is, was Shannon Sharpe actually trying to sabotage Charles Barkley behind the scenes? Or is this just a messy distraction to cover up his own downfall? Is ESPN really making the smart move by going all in on Chuck? And here's the biggest one. Can Shannon even bounce back? Or did he just fumble his whole legacy for good? Drop your hot takes in the comments because this drama is getting way too juicy to ignore. 1 minute you're on top, the next minute you're trending for all the wrong reasons. And right now, Shannon's name is ringing for the mess, not the wins. So make sure you hit that like button, share this with someone who's been following the beef, and smash that subscribe so you don't miss what happens next. Because in this media game, one slip, one scandal, and you're out. See y'all on the next one.